Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, a federal judge has rejected former President Joe Biden's attempt to block the Trump administration from releasing to Heritage Foundation recordings that Biden made with his ghostwriter, where he apparently talks about classified documents. And those recordings were obtained by special counsel Robert Hur in the course of the investigation into Joe Biden about classified documents. Remember, ultimately, he said that he was a feeble, well-meaning, elderly old man. But now it looks like the judge is denying Biden's efforts to block it, which means that those recordings could be coming out soon. Not only will we hear Joe Biden and how he sounded at that time and his memory, but also we will hear apparently him talking about how he had classified documents, because apparently he was reading from them and saying, hey, here are some of the details that I have attached to it. Here's what I'm reading on this classified document. Let me tell you a little more details. And this is to a ghostwriter for his book. It's not like the ghostwriter should have had any access to it. And it's not like Joe Biden should have at that time, because he wasn't president of the United States, unlike President Trump, who obviously had the raid on Mar-a-Lago. So we have a lot of news tonight here on The Rita Cosby Show on this Friday night. Meantime, President Trump also speaking out about the agreement with Iran. It's been a bumpy 24 hours, and it's going to be a roller coaster ride. There is no doubt about it. There's going to be highs and lows. And we know that President Trump had said, look, I'm hoping for the best. Absolutely. It's a good thing. Let's try for peace. We should all be rooting for peace big time. But yet, then suddenly messages came from Iran. Then they canceled the talks with J.D. Vance that were supposed to take place this weekend in Switzerland. Those were canceled. And then they started taking swipes at President Trump. And that's always not a good thing. I would say that's a very, very bad thing. President Trump does not mess around. So then he puts out a post, and it was very strong, saying, we didn't meet out of desperation. Iran did. They are finished. And then he further says, we'll play out the next 60 days. They get no money, not 10 cents. President Trump is now also in Camp David. He's there at Camp David, his great presidential retreat. And he's also meeting with a whole bunch of folks tied to his intelligence team, probably trying to decide what to do next or seeing what Iran does next, because they were trading barbs, as we know, with Hezbollah. It wasn't like they were honoring that ceasefire very well. They started firing almost immediately at Israel, at northern Israel, killing 4 Israeli soldiers. And then Israel responds. And guess what? The arm of Iran, Hezbollah, the terrorist group. And then suddenly Iran says, Israel's breaking the ceasefire. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Clearly a setup by Iran, and obviously just more games also from Iran at this time. But it just shows it's going to be a bumpy path. I was talking with Laura Trump earlier today. John Katz and I were talking with her, and she was just saying, look, peace is not easy. But her feeling, and I agree with her, thank God it's President Trump who's in the White House right now with all of these different machinations. The fact that they were so close to a nuclear bomb last year. Remember when they sent the B-2s in? Can you imagine if it was Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or somebody else at this very pivotal moment? You know that President Trump will not hesitate if he feels that they have absolutely crossed the line again. He will pound them again, and it will probably be even harder than last time. He will not mess around. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Meantime, here is President Trump. He did an interview with Axios, and he talked about the difference between his deal and Obama's deal, the JCPOA. And then President Trump was asked about his relationship with the Prime Minister of Israel. Listen to this.
If it weren't for Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu worked well with me, but he will tell you, we're the ones with the guns, we're the ones with the whole deal, we're the ones with the B-2 bombers, etc. If it weren't for Donald Trump, Israel would have been eviscerated.
Your relationship with Netanyahu's...
It's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Are you going to be able to control Israel from attacking Lebanon?
Yeah, I will be. I mean, I wonder. They have a lot of respect for me, and they do as I say. Remember this. If I don't terminate the JCPOA, remember, that was a road to a nuclear weapon, legally. It says right there. And Obama thought he could pay them off. He gave them billions and billions of dollars, $1.7 billion in cash. You know, it was a well-known story, but it didn't work. You can't bribe your way out of it. You can't pay off your way. But if I didn't do that, and if I didn't attack their nuclear supply 10 months ago with the B-2 bombers, Israel would not exist today.
Yeah, and by the way, that is a very powerful statement. Think about that. He said they were 2 weeks away. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Sal in New Jersey, line 2. Go ahead, Sal, your thoughts tonight.
Hello, Rita. Rita, we have to get to the bottom of this with Biden and his former administration, with Mar-a-Lago and with that his ghostwriting. Because if we don't, we're going to be overturned. We're going to be subverted because we're living in a virtual fascist communist country almost with all that nonsense that they pulled on us during his administration.
And you know what's interesting, Sal? What a bunch of hypocrites. And Robert Hur obviously giving Joe Biden a free pass, which is why I'm happy that this judge has denied this move. And I think it should be public. He's the president of the United States. He was obviously at the time. And we should absolutely be hearing those discussions because apparently they played a role in Robert Hur's decision. And these tapes, actually, the recordings were done some years before. So if he felt he was a feeble, well-meaning elderly old man, I believe the transcripts were like 2016, 2017. So you got that. So why the heck do we not have it? And second of all, if he's sitting there rambling about classified documents, knowing that he had classified documents, and remember a whole bunch were strewn all over the garage near the red Corvette with Hunter Biden, why is that not public? That also shows intent. It shows that he was aware he had classified documents, and yet nothing happened to Joe Biden. Remember, he didn't even get a slap on the wrist. He got a free pass.
No, and it sets a bad example for our democracy and for future generations because that will discourage other good people going into politics.
Yeah, I agree. And it also shows the complete double standard against President Trump, who, by the way, and I keep reminding everybody, Sal, he was president. And the president does have the ability, the only one who can declassify it. A vice president, a senator, they don't have the authority. And that's what Joe Biden was. So, I mean, at the time when all of this, when he was talking to his ghostwriter, he didn't have a right to have any of those documents. So We 100% should hear it. And you're right. We got to have faith in the entire process. Sal, thank you so much. You're terrific. Have a great weekend. Let's go to Matt in the Bronx on line 4. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. First of all, before I make my comment, I want to direct your attention to the Council for the National Interest.
Well, just focus on the point. I don't want a reference to a council. Go ahead.
All right. So basically, with regard to the peace treaty Actually, it's not even a peace treaty. It's actually a memorandum of understanding.
Exactly.
Which pretty much puts the hostility in suspension for 60 days, which means that this situation could easily erupt again.
Yes.
And again, the economic ramifications that most Americans are feeling right now, when they look at the inflation in the grocery store, when they look at the inflation at the pump, and again, much of that inflation is going to get worse even with this memorandum of understanding in place, because it's not only the oil that comes out, about a fifth of the world's oil that comes out of the Middle East, but also about a fifth of the fertilizer that's used in agribusiness.
But wait, hang on one second, Matt. You're not making sense. Why do you think it's going to get worse? I mean, it's clearly already gotten better. Gas prices are under $4 already. Oil prices are down. Ships are starting to sail through the Strait of Hormuz. How's it going to get worse? If it stays the same, and we can maintain it, and regardless, whatever it does, it's going to get better. It's already gotten better.
The price inputs that farmers need when they're planting their crops, again, a lot of those crops, there were smaller crops to begin with, because they lack the fertilizer that they got during the conflict. So again, those crops are already in the ground, and when they start to harvest them, it's a smaller crop.
I hear what you're saying. I have friends who are farmers. I hear what you're saying. On the other hand, let's not forget that gas prices are lower. I mean, it's been difficult. It definitely, obviously, will be difficult for some folks. But then a lot of people who are traveling in their cars or shipping, that's food prices. That's a whole bunch of stuff that's already demonstrably going down. And even if it stays flat now, it's still gone down significantly.
All right. The point I'm trying to make with regard to the price inflation, the economic pain that Americans were put through, during this crisis.
They were put through, but hang on one second. Do you agree, Matt? No, hold on one second, Matt. Do you agree they were put through it because President Trump was trying to fight an evil empire?
President Trump was kowtowing to Benjamin Netanyahu.
I knew you wouldn't say the truth, Matt. Okay, so you think that this is all about kissing the tuchus of Benjamin Netanyahu. Do you honestly think President Trump is following Netanyahu? He has made it abundantly clear that isn't the case. And every time he's asked, Israel to stop, they have stopped. And in fact, I mean, he was J.D. Vance was very strong against Israel. Some people felt way too strong yesterday. And he went in not because of Israel. He went in because he didn't want a terrorist regime to have a nuclear weapon. That's why he went in last year, and he continued to do it now because they were a threat to the world. You don't think Iran's a threat to the world?
As I said before, the only reason why he went into Iran was at the behest and to accommodate the Israelis and the Jewish lobby in this country.
I know you think that. Matt, hold on. I asked you a yes or no question. Do you think that Iran is a threat to the world? Do you think Iran's a threat to America? They hit the Marine barracks years ago. That's a yes or no. Can you answer that?
It is not. And
Not. How could you say that? How could you say that? They have taken so many American lives. The USS Cole. They have taken out, how about Hamas? Even Hamas, which is a proxy of Iran. They killed Americans on October 7th. They took Americans hostage. And you think that they're not a threat to America? You got to be kidding me. How can you say that? I've asked you a question. Can you answer it? How can you say that?
I'll tell you, because insofar as the demonstrable threats to the United States, Israel is a far bigger liability than is Iran. Okay, you're talking you're talking about a country that has attacked the United States with the USS Liberty, killed 37 of our sailors, wounded another 171, and almost sank the ship.
All right, so Matt, I know you're trying to point on a particular incident, but let's talk about the facts. They have taken out over 1,000 American lives for the last 47 years. And because of all that, they have clearly taken, a whole bunch of American lives. And, it's irrefutable. You look at the facts. They went after the Marine barracks. They did, as I mentioned, look at the USS Cole, look at Hamas, look at Hezbollah, look at all of these different proxy groups. And you seem to think that Israel, you really have Israelitis and Trump derangement syndrome. It really is incredible, Matt. You got to look at your history. 1-800-848-9222. And we will continue on the Rita Cosby Show when we come back. You're on a busy Friday night.
The Rita Cosby Show, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And when we come back, we'll take your calls. Plus, Graham Plattner has some choice words for police officers. What a lovely guy that guy is in Maine.
The Rita Cosby Show, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
By the time I hit my 50s, I'd learned a few things, like how family is precious. Work can always wait. And 99% of people over 50 already have the virus that causes shingles. Not everyone at risk will develop it, but I did. The painful, blistering rash disrupted my life for weeks. Don't learn about your shingles risk the hard way. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The Rita Cosby Show, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Back the Blue.
And this Back the Blue segment coming from Blackfoot, Idaho, where law enforcement officers rescued a woman from a burning mobile home. The rescue of the woman unfolded very early in the morning, and a neighbor spotted smoke coming from a mobile home and called 911 quickly. Sheriff's deputies responded to the call. They got there within 5 minutes. They attempted to enter the burning structure through a wide open back door, but they were driven back by massive smoke and heat. Fearing that someone might be inside, the officers immediately began tapping and pounding on the windows. Thankfully, the noise and voices of the officers calling out woke a 48-year-old woman who was sleeping inside. Now, given the extreme smoke and big flames from inside the mobile home, the deputies were able, incredibly, to reach through a window and pull her out to safety. The woman had sustained, get this, no injuries. The mobile home was a total loss, but firefighters were able to keep the fire from spreading to adjacent structures in the trailer park. But the woman is lucky to be alive and escape without injuries, thanks to our men and women in blue. And now we have some big news coming in about Iran.
Breaking news.
And Justin, as we had heard that indeed J.D. Vance would not be going to Switzerland and that talks were on hold, postponed. Now there's word coming out in the last few minutes that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner will be in Switzerland for possible talks with the Iranians. It's interesting. A lot of the talks came soon after Trump put out that message that I read to you, saying that essentially, Iran was the desperate party and that he was done with them. They knew what that meant. And now it looks like they are coming back to the peace table. As I said, it is going to be a roller coaster for the next few weeks. That is for sure. But now we are hearing that Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is heading to Switzerland. He's going to join the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, for what they hope will be a round of negotiations with Iran to finalize the details. And this is, of course, going through all the details of that 60-day framework. to figure out what happens afterwards in terms of nuclear development, missiles, the Strait of Hormuz, and a whole bunch more. Now, there's also reports coming out in the last few minutes that Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, is planning to travel to Switzerland on Saturday. So there could indeed be a new round of talks. It's that on and off again relationship with Iran. And earlier, we talked on Katz and Cosby with K.T. McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump. And she said that it is clear that within the Iranian leadership, there's obviously a big battle over power. And she believes that the IRGC, that's the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, those are the hardened fighters. And she believes that they are clearly trying to meddle in this peace process, that they just don't want peace. Maybe it's inevitable that President Trump is going to have to bomb the heck out of them, hit their headquarters, hit their homes. I hate to say it, whatever it takes. You got to get these zealots out of the country and out of this earth. So here's KT talking about that with us.
If they get out of line or screw up or whatever they're going to continue to do, I think President Trump then has the world with him when he responds. And I think that the target will be the IRGC leadership. And here's why. There are two groups, there are probably a lot of groups in Iran, but there are two main groups. And Trump is negotiating with the so-called moderates. They're not moderates. They're all crazy and crazier. But he's the pragmatists who know they have a country to run. That's who he's negotiating with. The guys who want to sabotage this are the IRGC. And so what they're doing is the IRGC kind of, nicking in here and a little something there. And they know that if they kill Israelis, that Israel has to respond. And then Iran can say, or the IRGC in Iran can say, oh, see, they've broken the ceasefire. So they're looking for a way to sabotage the same way that in October and early October, before the October 7th attacks, Saudi Arabia was about to join the Abraham Accords. The Crown Prince announced it, and Bibi Netanyahu announced it, and they said, well, we're negotiating. We're about a week or two away from having Saudi Arabia join the Abraham Accords. And that's when Iran did the same thing. They sabotaged that by unleashing on October 7th. So they're saboteurs. They know they don't have enough power to run the country, but they have enough power. They certainly don't have enough power to defeat the United States, but they have enough power to sabotage. And so that's what they're doing. That's why I think President Trump is cool. He expected this would happen, and he's got a plan B. There'll be a military plan B, and there'll be an economic plan B. So plan B is to reinstate the blockade, which will blockade Iranian ports, but everybody else can have free transit through the strait.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see if he does do that. If he, blocks it for Iranian ships, of course, they want those, with oil and so forth, but keep it free flowing for everybody else. That would be a very powerful message to send to Iran and to say you cannot keep messing around and supporting Hezbollah. There's also reports out there that they may be working with Iraqi terrorists, plotting somehow plans in the Middle East on U.S. bases. So that's always a threat. But are they planning something big? Are they buying time? Are they doing a combo of the two? Either way, you can't trust them. The good news is it's President Trump, at least, who's in the White House. And earlier today, I talked to Laura Trump, of course, the president's daughter-in-law and Fox News host. And this is the message she has to Iran about President Trump.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, he's not going to be the one to be pushed around. Maybe it's very different from past presidents. He's taking a strong stance for the United States, and he has been very clear about what he wants from Iran and what he expects out of a deal with them. Obviously, that they cannot have or develop a nuclear weapon, cannot purchase a nuclear weapon. The Strait of Hormuz has to be open. But, they also can't take us for fools here in the United States of America. And unfortunately, that's happened time and time again. It will not happen under this president's watch. And he's been very clear as well, Rita. He has said, look, if they violate any terms of anything we talk about, then I'm just going to go back and bomb the hell out of them. So I think he's been pretty clear with them. I think that they're willing to test the waters because it's worked in the past with other presidents. But pretty obviously, this president is putting his foot down and they have another thing coming.
Yeah, I would not mess with President Trump. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Robert in Philly. Line 4. Go ahead, Robert. Where is this going?
Hi, Rita. Always is good to talk to you. And I would like to wish all the good dads and strong single moms out there a happy Father's Day weekend.
Oh, that's beautiful. By the way, I like the idea about the single, like you're right. There's single moms out there, and there's single dads out there who are dads and moms. But you're right. That's a beautiful way to phrase it.
And there's so much overreaction and mischaracterization going along with this memorandum. Another Robert said that I said that this was the best deal we're going to get. And I know I didn't say that because we don't have a deal yet. It's just a memorandum. And that $300 billion, if they get it, if they meet the criteria, are coming from the Gulf states who have a vested interest in not having a nuclear-armed Iran. So all of these things are different than what's been done in the past. And it's kind of bothering me to maybe it's a 24-hour news cycle. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you something, Rita. It's possible that this memorandum might be a brilliant strategic move on Trump's part, and I'll tell you why. The biggest thing driving the political pressure for him to end this thing is the high gas prices. And if this results in those gas prices coming down, that strengthens Trump's position and buys him time to get a better deal. I'm surprised nobody's even thinking about this. They're so tied up in trying to win the day's news cycle and Trump derangement syndrome that you're just getting a lot of air and nonsense out there. Okay, we'll see what happens. I'm confident that something good is going to come from this because he's not doing the same thing everybody else did.
I agree. By the way, Robert, I 100% agree. And look, we've already seen success from it. I mean, look how the gas prices have already dropped significantly in such a brief period of time. So it shows that what President Trump said is true, with the oil prices, everything that we're seeing. And you're right. I like what you're saying, too, is that this gives him time. He doesn't have the domestic pressures. And he's already said that he doesn't care about the midterms, that he's doing it because he wants a right result for the world. And I firmly believe that. I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of people who told him to begin with, don't go in, don't do this. And he did it because he thought it was right. So I actually think you are correct in so many different ways. And I think it's going to be very telling to see what they do. And also, he's not going to hesitate that if there is a problem, he will absolutely go in and hammer them. If he feels that he has to, 100%. You think he's going to wait on that? No way, right? No way.
Absolutely not. And I would advise against the Iranian leadership, do yourselves a favor and use Zoom, because if you all get together, it's not going to end well for you. But, Rita, I know that we have to talk about these things, and I'm just let it play out. If these gas prices come down, they're going to come down. Like I got $3.85 right now. It should come down to close to $3, but it won't go below $3 until the summer traveling season is over. So sometime in the fall, right before the midterms, I'm going to be looking at like $2.80 a gallon.
That's amazing.
I'm telling you, the midterms are going to be looking good. They are, but I won't take too much time.
No, by the way, Robert, we always love hearing from you. And I think also you couple that with what's been happening on the left. I mean, all they have is I hate Trump. And then they also have I hate ICE and I hate police. I mean, I don't think that that's a winning strategy. I think, I think it looks angry. It looks vacuous. And anybody who sits back, whether they're Republican or Democrat, has to give this president credit, at least for doing something very difficult that no other American president dared to do. He's taken us so much further. And I don't think President Trump is not a halfway guy. He's not going to want to leave it, with some, anything sort of dangling. It's just a question of the right timing. He also understands all the chess pieces. So I think there are a lot of pieces to it that you bring up. And you're right. Getting the prices down and continuing to go down, as you describe. All of that does buy him time, and it gives him time to be able to do what needs to be done the right way, as opposed to being rushed or whatever the case is.
It takes away, undercuts all the pressure the Iranians would hope would be on him to negotiate for peace before he was done. And I think it's a brilliant move if I'm right. And either way, man, my fingers are crossed. And I'm just going to leave this, no more politics for the rest of the weekend, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I hope everybody else does too, Rita. You have a great night.
I hope so too. And happy Father's Day to you, Robert. Thank you very much. So let's go to Stan in Forest Hills. Line 3. Go ahead, Stan. Your thoughts.
We're having a lot of static, Rita. I'm hearing you. It's very hard to hear you.
Yeah, I'm hearing a little bit of static on your end, too. Keep going, though, Stan. Let me just see how it sounds. Or is it really staticky? Stan, do me a favor. We're going to check it out. We're going to do a quality control, and we'll get back to you. But you hang on. We're going to do a check with you. In the meantime, let me go to Keith in Ohio on line 5. Go ahead, Keith.
Hi, Rita. It's Keith. I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Oh, my goodness. How you doing? How are you? It's great to hear from you.
Pretty good. You know, I could tell you stories about me and Tony Snow and sometime and somebody else. Believe it or not, in the movie The Rain Man's older brother used to go to University of Cincinnati with us, but that's another story.
And you know how much I love Tony Snow. Tony Snow was such a good man, and I had the honor to work with him when I was at Fox News. He was right down the hall from me. We were both there at Fox in the early days, and one of the best, of course, former White House press secretary, too. So what a great soul.
But anyway, let me get to why I'm calling. Okay. Let's say you're a Christian and you're familiar with Revelation. This memorandum of understanding stuff should right away remind you of the fake, phony peace deal and peace that's mentioned in Revelation. And another thing, too, all these people around the world, and I don't mean physically, I mean verbally, attacking Israel should right away remind you in Revelation where it talks about the world or people in the world in modern-day society turning against Israel. And I don't think a lot of people realize right now what a dangerous, scary, goofy situation we're in right now in the world because of this Middle Eastern situation. What do you think about this?
Well, I think you hit a lot of powerful points. I do think you're right. A lot of people don't understand how dangerous I think Iran is. And I don't like when I see some of the Israel bashing that's out there. I find it very unseemly. And I find it despicable because Israel is right there on the front lines and they are absolutely fighting the good fight. And it's incredible. I mean, look who they're surrounded with and they are still standing. And what are they supposed to do? Like, especially when it comes to Hezbollah, even in the last, 24 hours, are they supposed to not respond? I think, President Trump has been clear they are allowed to respond, that everybody has a right to defend themselves. Your thoughts?
Well, the goofballs around the world think they should just roll over and play dead and let them be wiped off the face of the earth. I mean, I don't think people realize how dangerous the IRGC is. I mean, they hate and want to kill everybody. They hate Jews, Christians, Buddhists, Sikhs, Hindus. They hate everybody. And they want everybody to either submit to them or they think they should die. These people are really evil. I mean, they're almost to the point of Luciferian, they're so evil.
Yeah, you know what, Keith? I think you hit it very well. These people are so ruthless, and they are fanatics. And that's why anybody else would have submitted at this point with this pounding. But because they are zealots, they're fanatics, they are desperate for all of those reasons. That's why I always thought it would take a lot more work to get them to come to the peace table, genuinely come to the peace table. And who knows, they may never want to come to the peace table. I mean, and guess what? That means that Israel and the U.S. can keep kind of hitting them out. That means, okay, IRGC, next group, next group, next. I mean, I actually agree with you. I think this is very pivotal for freedom of the world. And the fact that, we had a caller before, you may have even heard it. I couldn't believe it. We had a caller before who was saying, he thought Israel was a bigger threat than Iran. Obviously, he's got a screw loose. But we have to realize that these people, they call Israel the little Satan and they call America the big Satan. And that should say it all. Keith, you got to call back again. It's really great to hear from you. And happy Father's Day, too. 1-800-848-9222. And we'll continue your calls, everybody. You're listening to The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
So talks are on again, off again. Now the latest is in the last few minutes we're hearing Witkoff and Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, maybe going to Switzerland instead. It certainly helps that President Trump put his foot down and told the world that they are finished, referring to Iran a little bit ago, saying we'll play out the 60 days. They get no money, not 10 cents. And I guess money talks. So does the military might of the United States. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. I think we got Stan back, right? So let's go to Stan on line 3. Go ahead, Stan.
Yeah, it was almost like Radio Free Europe there for a minute. Static was terrible.
Anyway,
I know,
and I could hear it on you, too. I was like, what's
going on?
on?
You did hear it. I thought I was crazy.
Oh,
yeah, okay.
No,
anyway,
never. Go ahead.
Let me say this. Number one, the situation with the Italian prime minister is embarrassing to the United States. Our leader, there's something wrong with him. I mean, he has embarrassed her. She's canceled her appointment. She called him a liar. He said things that are not true. And we have a problem with
this is about the photo or the
whatever it was.
But Stan,
she stood up. I congratulate her. She shouldn't come to the United States to see this guy. Number 2.
Stan, hold on. No. Hold on before you go to 2. And I'll let you go. Hold on one second. I'll carry you over. But number 1, first of all, Italy did nothing to help us with Iran. And they have been a great ally. She's had a great relationship with President Trump. And I'll tell you, I was very stunned that Maloney in particular didn't do anything to help with any sort of military support with Iran.
Support? They don't have a great military. They have a very little military.
They could have sent a little rowboat, but they didn't even send a rowboat and a flycatcher. I mean, that is the reality, Stan. They did nothing, and that sent an enormous message to the U.S. that maybe they're not as good friends as President Trump thought. And that was much more important than any comment about a picture. But hold on. I'm going to carry you over, okay, Stan, so we can get to point 2 and 3. And everybody will be right back here on The Rita Cosby Show.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Spotify, it's Jay Shetty. Are you one of those media strategy people? Scrolling through spreadsheets, searching for an audience that pays twice as much attention to your ads than they do on social? Let me introduce you to Fans. And they're here with me on Spotify. Trust me, I know Fans. They don't skip, they stay for hours. They don't move on, they manifest. They're not a demographic group, they're fans.
Spotify advertising. You're among fans.